Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Attorney Sharp Raleigh, and as unfortunately we were anticipating, Donald Trump is the next United States president. Now the issue is how an immigration side people are going to basically cope with that. And we have this article which appeared today on CNN: top five promises that Donald Trump voters expect him to deliver on. And of course, it's not Donald Trump really the issue; is the supporters. It is the supporters, so they need to make sure he needs to make sure that he comes and make good on his promises. So now there are five things that they mention here, but I will mention some more in more details. But I just wanted to go over this. The wall, of course, the big wall that everybody is talking about, and of course attached to the wall is a massive deportation. As for locking up Hillary Clinton, I don't think that one will go through. Muslim ban, that one probably will pass in a way, and I will explain that later how it will probably be done. Repeal Obamacare, definitely, because both the GOP and the the Donald Trump wanted the Obamacare to go, and ultimately, one of the things that they have been mentioning is the fact that they have the Senate, the House. It will be happening. As for the NAFTA. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a historic day, of course. Something that we kind of anticipated. If you look at some of my videos and my postings previously, Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. And now the question: now what? What happens to the immigrants, and what can we expect to happen in the next 1 year or two as soon as he becomes president? Note that he's going to be taking power in January, I think January 15th, 2017, and as from there will be a lot of things happening in the near future. This is an article from CNN from Ted Cloud that the top five promises voters expect him to deliver on. One of them is, of course, the wall, and attached to the wall is also deportation of people who are undocumented and, as they call it, illegal. Lock her up. This is about Hillary Clinton. That one, I doubt he will be able to go through with that, especially after his speech yesterday. Muslim ban. This is also something that might be yes and no, because he has not really made clear recently what he wants to do on that. As for Obamacare, I'm pretty sure it will be repealed, because both the Congress and Senate are in the hands of the GOP, which is a Republican Party right now, and they always wanted to repeal Obamacare. As for NAFTA, which is going to affect us also on immigration side, is to make sure that NAFTA is a North American free trade agreement between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. If he repeals that, there will be some effect on immigration too, especially on the TN visa, etc. So now let us look at. I have a slide that I made a few month ago on the 10 things that will happen and that might happen. Now I'm going to reassess each one of them. Number one, summary deportation. One of the things that we are expecting to happen is a massive deportation of undocumented workers. As Donald Trump said, these people are quote unquote illegals. So this is going to create a really big havoc right now, because a lot of people are going to expect him to do that. How does he do that? The question is now a question of law. It is possible. One of the concepts is summary deportation, which is summary removal, like they use at the airport. But still, there are as you are on the jurisdiction on the soil of the United States, the rule of law will apply. There should be under the Constitution the right to have a trial. And now we have another problem. We have a shortage of immigration judges, and cases are taking years. So that's another thing that we will have to wait and see what happens. But definitely there will be some actions on that. The question: will they push the police to actually kind of look into people's papers, a bit like they do in France and other countries? Now, second one, denying Muslims entry to the United States. As I mentioned, this one we're not so sure how it's going to work, but one of the things we know in immigration is as for Muslims who are United States citizens and green card holders, I think the problem will not be that easy to basically block them at the port of entry or even deport them. But there might be ways, just like the Chinese Exclusion Act, where they can block certain people who are still Muslims in the United States to be um, to be to be prevented from staying in the United States. But that will probably be a big problem with Congress, and I'm sure many members of Congress will not appreciate that, and there will be some fight. As for people coming in, for example, students, B1, B2 visa, since it's a discretionary power, just using 214B, which is basically the immigrant intent, will be enough to be excessively used somehow to block those people. So that will not be a hard one, and it will be totally be constitutional. And for those who don't know, many people get blocked saying, "Hey, you have an immigrant intent. We don't want you here. So we don't even you have a B1, B2 visa, which is a visitor visa." Or the F1 visa, we can still deny you entry, and that can be used, of course, not only for Muslims but for other people. Now, number three, that's what I was mentioning earlier, deputizing local authorities. This has been done before, and one of the Trump's um, argument was that many of the undocumented are committing crimes. So, as such, they can deputize the local police. This has been done, and for those who were here around September 11th, this was done. Was used extensively, where basically, at this point in time, usually the immigration is a federal matter, so the police doesn't really get involved. But ultimately, there will be more power given to the police. So we are expecting that. Now, then of course the executive orders. Now, excuse me. That now we have a big thing that a lot of people are worried about. DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. This is the one that gave a work permit for many young people who grew up in the United States. That one will probably be reversed. But now the question is, what happens with all this data that are in the system? And that's what many people are very fearful about right now. So the system has registered all those people in a database, so it will be easy to track them down. And unfortunately, I'm very sad to say, it was a lot of people were not applying for DACA exactly for that reason. Now that they are registered on the system, there is a chance that you will see this database being used to basically track undocumented workers or undocumented people. So watch out for that. And again, I'm telling you all this. It might not happen, but we need to be ready for that, because our job is not to create fear; is to create an environment to make sure that people have a chance in the United States. Prosecutorial discretion, something that we used to get rid of cases in deportation, will probably also be taken off, because these are not things that he wants to continue. And then also the STEM OPT, that one will probably go away too, but again, we don't know about that one. H4EAD, that's a big question I'm getting, because I fought a lot for the H4EAD and we used the Obama executive power. What will happen to it? I'm thinking, from my guess, those who already got the work permit, there's a big chance they will allow them to continue using it until it's expired, but after the expiration they will not renew it. The second option is they don't do anything about it, they keep it because it's attached to the H1B. And the third thing is that they might just remove it completely. We don't know really at this point, so there's no need to panic at this point. Only thing is that if you have other options, we need to look into the other options as soon as possible. We will know all this stuff by February or March of next year. And the same time, also not forgetting about that, there are other issues that are attached to Obama executive powers that we are expecting to be taken away soon, once he becomes president. Now, H1B visa. He mentioned twice different ways of thinking on H1B. First, he said he will not, he will cut it off. Then he said no, he will keep people he needs. But he also said that he will decide which one to keep or not to keep. And that's going to be a big thing, especially for the Silicon Valley, where a lot of the workers are H1B holders. And he basically is following the track of saying, okay, people who are um, on H1B are taking the jobs of Americans, which is not really true if you look at the model, but at the same time, he's not going to make it easy. So be ready if you're on H1B. And I know a lot of people who are on H1B because that's our main visa that we use for engineers, doctors, etc. So we need to know where exactly he stands because he has been flip-flopping on that. So now the next one is OPT. Of course, I mentioned that OPT, that stem extension that Obama granted and which had a lot of lawsuits on them. I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, it will be gone unless I'm wrong. But I hope I'm wrong on this. So you can't count on this anymore. So H1B will be the best way to revert back. Now NAFTA. NAFTA is the North American Free Trade Agreement, and we use that for the TN visa. And if he takes away NAFTA or modify it, depending how he modifies it, there's a chance we will not be able to get TN visa for many people. So be ready for that too. Now, citizenship birthright, that's something that was proposed, but I don't know how much he's going to put focus on that. But there might be a chance that he changes the right, that people who are born here and whose parents are not U.S. citizen might not be getting U.S. citizenship. A little bit like the system they have in England, etc. Now, detentions. He said he's going to reopen Guantanamo Bay. That's something that we don't know about yet because there are so many other issues he has to deal with right now. So, and then of course the big wall, the famous wall, that one everybody is expecting that because this is his signature when he won the basically when he won the election to win the election. So now this is the big question now everybody is asking: what happens next? What do we do? Well, first of all, the rule of law is still there. So, as a lawyer, I can only tell you that the law has not changed. It might change, but it has not changed. It might be for the better, it might be for the worse, but expect some really big changes coming in the coming next year. 2017 is going to be decisive. A lot of things are going to happen. So, one of the a few ways to protect yourself. For those who are eligible for citizenship, I recommend that you file your citizenship right now. And if you need help, please give us a call at 510-742-5887. For those who are on H1B, let us hope that he will not take away those H1B, but definitely a lot of people will not be having the luxury of applying for H1B probably next year, 2018 quota. And then also for those who have petitions by their family members, we recommend that you get it filed as soon as possible. Especially becoming a citizen can help you in that. And then also one of the final thing a lot of people are looking at is moving to other countries. A lot of people have been asking me about Canadian immigration since yesterday, and you saw what happened to the Canadian immigration website. It crashed, but we can help on that too. You can call us at 510-742-5887. Bottom line, my message is there's still hope. The country is divided, but the country is not is still a country with the rule of law. So if you abide by the law, there are big chances you will be fine in the United States. In fact, there might be booming economy depending how things turn out with his plans, especially on the side that he's talking about big constructions. For those who are economists, they know when you do construction, it takes a country out of the recession. So definitely it will create jobs, and by creating jobs, it will make the world better. The other things that he said yesterday in his speech, which was kind of calming people, is he wants to unite everybody, every religion. So we hope that he will follow through on that, and also stopping the wars. And hopefully, by stopping the wars, the world will be a better place for a lot of people outside. So, not looking at it only from the perspective of the United States citizens, look at it from the perspective of the war. Since he's in good terms with Russia, there might be a big chance we will see the world not going into war, especially in the Middle East and some places in Ukraine, etc. Now, how are this going to unfold? How are things people are going to take it? There's a lot of fear going on. People are very scared, especially people who are undocumented and Muslims right now. So I said to them, the only thing you can look at is the United States have been going to a ups and downs over its 250 years almost of republic. So it's not new, except now there might be things that are changing, especially with the climate change, with the population explosions, drought, etc. Things are going to be a little bit different, maybe a lot more different. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump himself is not a danger to the people, but of course he will have to please his supporters, and the supporters will be demanding some of the five things we mentioned earlier. But the question is, how fast this is going to happen. We're expecting the first 2 years he will have to do those. But again, things might change with Donald Trump. He goes with the flow. So depending how the people act. I've seen also people talking about calexit, basically California exiting from the United States. It's not going to happen, but a lot of people are talking about it. Now the Silicon Valley where we are is going to be affected definitely, because they rely heavily on imported labor, so-called quote unquote, and H1B, so they will be affected. Having said that, he might increase actually investor visas, and we to inject money into the economy. So for those investors who wanted to invest, hopefully those visas will still be there, or new visas will be created. So we have to look at all this. So at the end of the day, I was prepared for that, and I know a lot of people were prepared for that, hoping that it will not happen, but we were prepared for it. So there's no need to get desperate right now. The only thing you have to do is to make sure you make a decision. If you want to stay in the US, you will have to abide by the rules, and abiding by the rules will require a lot of things to be changed, a lot of ways to look at things, a lot of different ways to look at things. And at the end of the day, the United States will continue changing president over the years. Things will change, but we still have our local authorities. We still have the Congress, the House of Representatives, etc. We can deal with, and we hope that they will do the right thing. I wish you all best of luck, and anything I'm telling you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Good luck to all of you. Thank you so much for listening. I will update you as we get more information. Thank you, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on what will happen on the visas.